Banachdi na Bealtaine aniu. Blessings of Beltane, May 1st, 2024 to you today. I don't really know what I'm going to say because it is literally 6 a.m. in the morning right now. I'm coming to you not far from Glastonbury, but far enough to be out in Somerset, England. To just feel wrapped up, safely tucked away from the colour and the noise of this most iconic spot on the Isle of Avalon. And just had to stop to take in the smell of these trees. Here in England, the horse chestnut tree is already in bloom. And it feels like we've jumped ahead at least a month here in England. Or at least, maybe that's because I'm outdoors a lot here, as opposed to when I'm home in my beautiful Emerald Isle. So here I'm seeing the bluebells have come and gone, and lilacs are out in full bloom. And as I said, the horse chestnuts are fully out with all their flowers as well, and the beautiful smell. Anyway, I didn't come here to give you a herbal talk. Really, I don't know what I'm going to say because just rolled out of bed at about half an hour ago when I got a knock on the door from my lovely colleagues. Look, a feather! Who are going to catch the sunrise procession at Glastonbury Tor. I was just a little bit too late. A bag of all the things that I'd need for that excursion. But I am here to say, today, May 1st, is the day before the last day of our training. Module 2 of the field facilitator training. And I didn't really want to be doing a vlog at this hour of the day today, but here we are. Feeling very full. But not too full, not to receive more today. Although yesterday evening was our most intensive process up to date, and that's only relative because, sure, it felt that intensive because we've been that much opened up during the week together. And that's the truth, isn't it? Because had we done it on day one, it might not have felt so edgy because we wouldn't have been that much opened up on day one, of course, having just arrived and everything not yet having opened up as we have done on these days here. I need to pause for a second here to put my tree leaves down. When I go on these walks, I pick the baby leaves off the trees if I encounter them where they are very plentiful and not directly right on the road. I'm walking on the road at the moment, but that has been a big part of my diet while here, having the leaves of, we have today beech. I haven't had beech today yet. During this week. What have I had mostly? It's been a lot of everything. The dandelions, which are not a tree, of course, stems and flowers. We've had beech, we've had hawthorn, we've had hazel. We've had a couple of trees that, I didn't even know what they were, but it was coming off of a tree branch, and I thought, okay, I'll try it. There's some wild cherry growing all around me here. So since it's this early, there's not that many cars, and like I said, I normally try to avoid roads, but because we're this early, I'm going to just chance it. Thank you, Chervil, and take a couple of sprigs of this to add into my cultivated gastronomical experience later on today. So let me pause and put this in my little bag that I have in my big bag in here. Well, I could attempt to do it all at the same time. Let's see. That's what I got in my bag. Socks, flowers, the necklace that I had earthed out all yesterday in the ground somewhere. And what's that white bag? Let me really pause this now. Okay, got it now. Excuse me, just the thought of it encourages my body to rest and digest. So this little bag will go back in there, where it was. And we can carry on walking for a little bit. Just for a little bit. So yes, wrapping up the week together. It is helpful, for me anyway, and my brain to be doing this. So thank you for being here with me. If you're choosing to come along, bless you, because I don't know what kind of insanity you have if you're really listening to this or watching this, but bless you. So yes, and I, at this point, you know what, my brain doesn't even know. Did I actually already share what we did last night? I'm thinking probably not, because I was in the process, and then it was dinner time, and then it was the evening activities. So let's stop for a moment and hear the local sheep, and hear what they have to say. There is some sheep's wool here as well in the ground. Oh, there's quite a lot in here, I can see. Look at this interesting gate. Oh, I've never seen this kind of a gate in Ireland. Hi. Ooh, there's a lot of sheep's wool over there. Interesting. Why it all ended up being right there? Were they all brushing up on it? Listen to them, would ya? Enough slacking now, Penelope. So yes, I can't believe I didn't describe it. Anyway, I will try, and I don't have my notes, so forgive me for missing out or skipping anything. But sure, this is just a little recapitulation briefly. So yesterday, after our morning routine and our morning practice, which was a very tender touch exercise with two others, meaning that we were chosen or given two other people as our partners. So there were three of us, and we had done a touch exercise, which basically ended up being a group belly to belly. So how does it work? We're not all physically belly to belly in the group segment of it, which is the last part. And it was very tender and touching, tuning into the body and what it really needs, touch-wise. And of course, if it's not physical touch, then it can be any other meaningful touch for us. And then at the end of that morning practice, which was led by Michelle Cooney, the amazing kind of right hand to Rachel Rickards here at the field, we then went into our first day's work, which was then led by Christian Pankhurst. And it was, we thought he was joking at first. Well, I can only speak for myself, but he said it's going to be around judgment. So was this all only really yesterday? I think so. Anyway, maybe it's not. But from what I can recall right now, at 6 a.m., well, plus, it's gone on now since 6 a.m. on the dot. So this judgment piece was, when he said that, dropped it like a bomb, it was like, oh God, really? But he said, it's light, it's fun, it's good. So he told us about it, and even then it didn't quite land until we were midway during it that realized, yeah, it is, So I'm across the room, and we're all in a circle together after our big morning practice belly to belly group and saying, I judge you to be the kind of person, very important to use that phrase, I judge you to be the kind of person that watches YouTube videos, but really thinks that they can do better ones. And then I take a breath, whatever I say to this person. Just like me. And with that statement, I've opened up, I know I've shared this in the other one already, it has opened up the judgment round, and we get in the middle of the ring of everybody not holding hands, but everybody standing in the circle, and we have an ass-slapping fight. So yeah, this went on for a good while. This was all it was. One ingenious soul asked, "Can I have a judgment with 3 people?" So they thought about it after they laughed and was given the blessing. So Louise said, whatever, you, and you. It was Alistair, Travis, and somebody else. 3 men anyway. She said, I judge you to be the kind of person that, whatever it was. And then, 3 against 1. So that was the judgment. And it was amazing, purging a lot of the stuff out of the field. So out of our group field. And that's been my takeaway in my body this time for Module 2. It's how much all these exercises that we do with our fellow participants, which are our fellow facilitators, for me has been an experience in purging this group field, the field, of its impurities and the dross. But Mr. Heart IQ, Christian Pankhurst, called it taking out the trash. I love that picture from the start when he said, this is what we call taking out the trash. But yeah, this is how it occurs to me right now, that it is purging the field, creating a more rarefied and real entity with which to work in. So this is invaluable when you are facilitating groups and whatever you're doing, if it's singing, this could be powerful if you do it during singing kind of an event. If it's a deep dive into the human fabric, in the soul, pretty powerful, all of these exercises. So, as promised, deep breath. After that piece on judgment, we had our lunch, and then we came back for the afternoon session at 3:15 after that. And of course, it began with embodiment, so we probably had we had a dance, I think. I think maybe Tanya was leading it, but I'm afraid I was a bit late, so I can't really describe what Tanya was doing with us. No doubt something wonderful, as she leads such wonderful spaces for grief. And what's the other thing that Tanya Forgan leads spaces in? Anyway, I'm going to have to fill in the blanks after this. So, after lunch, we were faced with our, was it 3 or 2? It might have been all 3 of the facilitators, but it might have been just Rachel and Christian. Okay, so he prefaced this by saying, I could tell the weight of this bomb was going to be, by the way he was saying it, which I'm not going to do it justice. We've been noticing, we want to bring a piece now that we're not going to be able to do it any other time. Tonight is the last full day. Tomorrow is May 1st. It's going to be the day before our leaving day, so we don't want to do it then. But today, right now, what has been showing up in the field has been this piece on narcissistic tendencies, on shame, on taboo. So we feel like we would like to bring this piece. I can't remember what he called it now, I'm afraid. My apologies. Anyway, shame. Did he... Yeah, first the presentation up front, with the whiteboard, writing down what needed to be written down and showed to us in that way. And there was writing down, because just to go back to the judgment exercise, I want to say the judgment game, he wrote down the 4 kinds of mirrors. I am getting this mixed up, so I am, with what Rachel brought, the forum. Yes, so scratch that last piece. The mirrors were part of the forum. The judgment was only the ass slapping. There was no written down thing. Okay, so this was, a few things that didn't involve chairs and notepads. So for this last piece, yesterday, the shame piece, this is going to be a longer blog now, or vlog even. Ooh, hello pheasant. You can go back that way. Okay, pause while I focus. You see it? You see it? There she blows. Thank you, Mayday pheasant, making an appearance. Wildlife with Penelope at St. Bridget's Temple on the road. Deep breath, everyone. And yes, in case you hadn't kept on, deep breath means breathing in through the nose. Oh, I didn't know this was in it. It's not a baby, it's his wife. The goddess lands. Wow, I can't believe I'm looking at this through my frickin' phone. Because I look at my phone a bit too much. And so my eyesight isn't as good as it could be. But that can all be rectified. Oh my god. My friends, Maharjaglio. I have to invite you to a real life, not online, experience, retreat, workshop of natural vision improvement. Because I would like this for myself as well. And there's no better way to do it than with you as well. Let's co-regulate together and let us retune to our bodies. And I think I would love to do with my sons as well. I would like to not that I ferry them out to their dad, but not have my kids with me because I'm in training or something. Yes, I'm sorry, I'm focused on me again with the video, so you won't see if the pheasants fly away. But I'll try to capture it if they do. So this piece on shame, we're going to share those things that we don't want anybody else to know. And 4 ways. Number 1, we're going to share those things that have been done to us, that we are ashamed of. Number 2, we're going to share those things that we have done to others, what we have caused to happen in others. Number 3, I think we're going to share humiliations, times of just getting it wrong. And number 4, if that wasn't number 4, any taboos or fantasies or otherwise things that we haven't necessarily taken place physically in the 3D world, but that exist in our mind fantasy, that astral world, I suppose, in my baby anthroposophical understanding of the cosmology of our earthly plane. So we can begin this sharing by the phrase, what I don't want you to know about me is, and then you say it. And I originally had thought that these 4 facets that had been outlined, which were written on the whiteboard so we could see them, were like the first round, you share what has been done to you that puts you in shame. The second round, you share what you've done to others. But he clarified, saying, no, those were just the 4 ranges that we could draw on, but we could bounce around within each of them when we have our share, of which was going to be, was it 60 seconds? or was it more? Was it? I'm just going to say 3 minutes, okay? Okay, so we're going to share for 3 minutes, and then we're going to stop. Take a breath with our group. The group had 5 others, so there were 6 people altogether. And in the beginning, we set up and we chose a number before he told us that we were going to be going in this order after the number that we chose. Then whoever number 1 was going to go first. They would have their round of sharing. I'm going to try on the pheasants. They didn't fly away. I suppose I can... They weren't temporarily traumatized. So, then we take the breath after the first round where we shared, any of those 4 bullet points. And then our second round, we share again. After which time we again take a break, a pause. We connect with our others in the group through our eyes. Just, when we share from our truth and our depth, I know for myself, I sometimes... Thank you, Mr. Blue Car. It's a very tiny car. I hope that wasn't the guy who's going to Glastonbury tour now anyway. Haha, probably not. Sometimes quite often I close my eyes so that I can really, close off the stimulation from the external beautiful visual world and just focus on my internal world so as to draw out the purest truth out of it to share with whoever else I'm sharing with. And then we have a third round. I think it's just 3 rounds. And at the end of that, we again take a breath with all of our group, connect with eyes. Oh, and during this time, we're also very encouraged to share any words. Very short words. Nothing long in between these shares. Like words like, oh, and also another headline, we normalize their shame. We normalize it so that it's not a biggie for us. We reflect back how normal it is. And to me, it takes a little bit clarification because I took that to mean myself that I don't make a biggie of it. I'm not, making like, oh my God, which is true. We're not going, oh my God. But I thought that meant like I'm not allowed to really show my emotion. Which by the end it was like, obviously it felt like it was fine to be crying more than they were, maybe. And after that, saying, I'm still here, I love you, I'm never going to stop loving you, try and keep me away, I feel you so much. Things like this, as you can imagine. No, that was another pheasant, don't worry, that wasn't our pheasants, okay? That you heard taking off in the distance there, in case you didn't realize what I'm referring to. And after that round of shame, those 3 rounds of shame and checking in between, then we would go back around the circle, starting with the first person again, and they would be held or touched in some way that they request. So, okay, let me think. What did our first person? She said, I don't know, just touch. She said anywhere, just touching, and then we would ask her, do you want words? And she said, yeah, some words. So every person obviously had their own individual preferences. I asked to be carried, basically, and oh yeah, this is a very interesting thing. In each of the, I think it was 8 groups altogether of 6 each. I probably got that wrong, maybe not, but Christian was just looking around, and it was the first time that he had just said, okay, can somebody stand up from this group, which was the group I originally was in, and then he went to another group, and one of you guys stand up, meaning another group obviously had 2 men in it, and I guess the group I originally was in was just all women, and so since I stood up, I swapped out of that group, and I went into a new group, whereby there was a man, and I had the very manly Cyrus, which I haven't really connected with before in that meaningful, deep way. Um, so, so beautiful brother Cyrus got asked to be, can I lean on your back? Can we go back to back? And then everybody else would touch them and tell them words, and or he sat into a back jack, one of those back supporting seats, and somebody sat in his lap and received touch and everything, which was a bit more accessible for him. So just a moment to love on Cyrus for holding the space for us other female-bodied persons. I know person is a word, but anyway, yeah. And for me, I asked Cyrus, it was just a notion. I mean, I would have happy if it was any other configuration. I just said, would you carry me? But not in the kind of I'm in your lap or I'm back to back, but rather like I'm carrying you. And he said, oh, like carrying you over the threshold type thing. And I thought, yeah, I suppose like that. So we did that. And at first I kind of like, cradled into his chest and tears came again. And then Christian, I'm so glad he said, make sure to open your eyes and face everyone in this part of the exercise, which was true. I realized, it's the object isn't to collapse into my feelings and emotions around what has come up, but rather to continue connecting with others and to normalize this shame. And all of us were like, quite a few of us were like, there's so much more where that came from. And one beautiful piece he said before we began sharing the rounds of shame was, what I don't want you to know about me, what I don't want, my colleagues, my fellow facilitators here to know about me. And if something horrible and the biggest, baddest thing comes up, then that's what you share, the biggest bomb first. And another piece he said was, there's a tendency when it comes up to our turn, or when we contemplate doing this exercise, to just, bring up a number of things, 2 or 3 things, and then it's like, no, I won't share that. Next thing, no, I won't share that. I'll share this, and just share all of it. And I really love that. It is really literally like taking out the trash, getting the tingles now as I speak about it. And it creates such a powerful container in your groups, in my groups, in our groups together. There was another piece. Okay, so we shared these pieces. Oh, I feel emotional thinking about, at the end of it all, one of us had more stuff that was coming out. Anyway, let me pause that internal thought to come back to you. So, okay, we had this, and yeah, at the end of it, taking in eyes from others, taking in more words, taking in touch, really imprinting it in our body. And this is the most beautiful thing. This isn't what I was trying to remember, but it's also beautiful and perhaps important for you to know. I'm sharing this with you. It's like a free field recapitulation vlog. But there you go. It's an interesting time to be alive. So receive this new imprint. And I immediately ate that up. It was like, receive this imprint into your being. And you can allow this to be a portal into the truer, newer, but not really new, you, that original you that came through free of blemish, taint, and sin, if you want to call it that, of shame, this baggage that we carry around in our root chakra normally. So in our ass, carrying this around all our lives, passing it on generously to those we love most. Sorry, my voice sounded a bit evangelical than the exercise from the other day. But yeah, so I got it on an intellectual level and also dived into my deepest barrels of shame and the bottom of all this murkiness. It really was a tangible, altered field of consciousness on the personal level, on the individual level. We shared afterwards, was anybody not okay? Was anybody not feeling lighter? He would ask, thank you, battery power 15%, charge your phone. is anybody not okay? Is anybody not doing okay? He would ask in between each round, I believe. And yeah, and at the end of it all, also asked again, how's everybody doing? Do you feel lighter? Does anybody feel heavier? And one or two people put up their hands. I was meaning not sure if I'm doing okay or not. I kind of felt like in the grander scheme of things, I was, but it wasn't that I felt lighter. It felt like, does anybody feel like they have more shame than they had? Most 99% or 98% had said, was like, yeah. I was just, in my case, I just wasn't a clear, maybe it was just the language, feeling like I don't necessarily feel like I'm in my integrity and truth to say that, yeah, I feel lighter and I feel that my shame is less now. In one part of my mind, though, I did feel like, yeah, I'm sure my shame is less now. But in my body, I suppose my nerve system was just still reverberating from the impact of, turning my skin inside out to these 5 other people. This is what I wanted to share as well. Bonus. This is like a private diary, though, for me, and digesting my experience here at the field. So fair enough, Penelope. You're also getting something out of this. The question, do you see the value and the worth of doing this exercise? Was it worth it, or are you glad that we did it? And mostly, people said they were. I think there was only one participant that had opted out not to do it, but there was also impact from the forum sharing it surely wasn't the same day from earlier. I'm thinking it was maybe the same day. Jesus, did we do the touch morning practice? Did we do forum next? And then did we do the judgment game? And then the shame exercise? All in one day? I'm going to have to look at my notes anyway, or check with others. So when it was a general yes, get it? And like I said earlier about if you are facilitating space, you don't bring this in on day 1. You don't bring this in on the last day. It has its place. And you don't bring this in necessarily. You really are feeling into your fields and what the group has capacity for and what feels naturally correct. The hygiene of the space. Because this could have the, please God no, but could end up being a re-traumatization if it's not held in proper order, there's another word, not order. Anyway, how could it be more powerful? Can anybody guess? I'm paraphrasing Christian now, from what I can remember. That's right. You take your top 3 biggest shames and you stand in front of everyone, the whole group, and you share these. And this, he guaranteed us, had a mind-blowing effect of liberation. And I'm saying that on the strength of the words. It isn't quite going fully into my body, but my soft mind, my better mind, my gut mind knows that, yeah, this feels true. This feels true. I mean, mostly I am taking it from the body of Christian, his physical body, his animal body, as David Cates calls it. We are all large mammals in small spaces. And with all of our life experiences and our nervous systems and whatever else coming through our lineage and anatomy, genetics, then of course, this work is important. And that's David Cates, the founder, the developer of Belly to Belly, as he had passed it on to Rachel Rickards to carry on sharing. So I think that's it. I think I'm complete. I'm not drawing any specific conclusions, but just to say, so this is only a day of what I've experienced. I'm going to train on the pheasants now. Wouldn't it be great if they just took the end of our video? Stranger things. Okay, so they didn't. But my friends, Shorich, Sasna, and you, Wan Nabiatana. no Bejer Lana Vialtana? Sagam. Arianos. Potato Slan Mocharja. Agus. Chiffy Mayor Blauhu. In other words, all the light of goodness to you. And I'll be seeing you soon, no doubt. I'm swallowing the fantasy tears that I might be crying, thinking about tomorrow leaving Module 2, and realizing I feel strong in between. People, bonus content, people shared how, in the question and answer after dinner last night, about how do you deal with the emotional, basically, come down of these field in-person portions, modules, and of all the things that were shared, I wanted to share personally here that I don't feel it that much, and I felt it was because I have family, my 2 teenage sons, Phelim and Maliki, who are probably shouldn't have shared that because of GDPR, but anyway, sorry, I might bleep them out. Okay, yes, and I have other colleagues, not that many, mind, but and of course my clients that I'm so privileged and honored to share these powerful portals of trauma kind of regularization is how I'm feeling about it, because we all have trauma. We always will have trauma if we are hitting that goal of being a full human being, a full integrated human being, which means I'm making myself more and more sensitive, not tougher. The object is not to be tougher, but the offshoot of being more and more sensitive in a conscious way. It's like making love. If you are somebody who enjoys sex and conscious connection, be it romantic or just physical, then if I have a hard skin about, 3 feet thick, then I can't really receive my companions and my friends and my lovers and my potential lovers, because I'm hardened up. I'm all armored up, girded my loins to the hilt with my woundings and my past trauma. So I can't fully receive the love that I so urgently crave and seek, right? So the aim of Tantra, the aim of, work co-regulation and self-regulation is to drop down deeper into I'm afraid of this, actually suddenly the power shutting off and losing this vlog. So the object is to be more sensitive, to open up, to begin to melt away the trauma, to see them for what they are as well, to go back in the time machine, to, like a glacier of fat, to explode them into globules, into colloids that can be disintegrated and dissolved in the fabric of our consciousness. The attachment that I fear, I can go back and find that when I was 2, my mother died, and I was ever then afraid to attach to anybody. And I can begin to let that be imploded, and all the globules of that time in my life be reintegrated. And when that happens, that I become more sensitive and more able to hold more. And then suddenly somebody comes into my life that now I am able to perceive them. And it wasn't ours. Well, maybe it was, but I couldn't see them visibly anyway. With my eyesight, they say. And now I am able to receive them. And then I realized, well, perhaps this soulmate had walked into my life 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, but I hadn't felt them. I hadn't perceived them. I didn't see them because I didn't feel and see myself because of all this armoring. Deep breath. So right now I'm going to turn the volume up on my love for you. And as a facilitator, if you are somebody that holds spaces, and I want to postulate that you are, because in your world, You're going to be older than somebody. So you are the wise elder in our original social human makeup. So you're going to be holding space for somebody who looks up to you. You're going to be mentoring somebody informally or formally. You're going to have children or friends. You're going to have people that depend on you, that lean on you. So you hold space. You do facilitate space. Whether or not you make a living of it or make it a business. So I'm turning the dial up on my love, pouring that into you, and inviting you to have kindness on yourself. If this brought up anything for you, I would like to invite you to receive the joy and the light that's come out at the end of this tunnel. And yeah, the idea of the field is not to be an exclusive facilitator training. The idea of the field is to light up all the points of love and to connect us together, whether it be for just this moment now, just these probably 44 minutes, or, for a longer, more extended, prolonged period of time. So the pheasants are blessing us. I'm going to look up what medicine pheasants bring to us in the animal totem shamanic understanding of things. And again, it is Lana Bialtana in you. Gomol Yashkel, Norve me Michart, Feduda and Gramadach Gaelig. So I do wish you, in however form that comes, for us, when I'm back home in Ireland, Lana Bialtana means it's the first day of summer. Here, as I am physically in England, I know they're dancing around the maypole. I suppose it's a time of fertility. And certainly listening to all these wild pheasants here, why are they singing? Why are they making those sounds? It's nothing to do with us humans. It's this attracting the call of their partner in fertility. So anyway, should have ended a long time ago with this, but here we are. And continue to receive my love, please, and my joy and my light. May it be a friend to you in times of darkness, isolation, and numbness. And I know that you also feed back into my spiritual and soul nourishment. And if I'm lucky enough to know you in person, then physically as well. So, I shall see you soon, no doubt. Slán an Macharja.